I want to talk a little bit about maternal health and mental health, because I always want to talk about maternal health and mental health. You talked about, on page 1, your prenatal and perinatal risk factors. Let me just find my question. What about the postpartum year and the mental health of the mother? Do you see a relationship between postpartum mental health? Could you speak to that, please?
Oh, yeah. So there's a dyadic relationship that occurs between the parent. It's not just the mother. It's a guardian, let's say, right? A foster parent in situations, or grandparents, okay? That occurs right from newborn. And their newborn's interaction, even the child looking at you, or the movements that it makes, the way it sucks and so forth, is they need some feedback. It's almost like the newborn is trying to talk, but it can't. It's trying to communicate. And if we don't give the reciprocal feedback of this dyadic relationship, we call it infant mental health. You should take a course on that. That is subject to the newborn's like questioning itself, where am I? What am I being taken care of? It's like me talking to my wife and my wife keeping her eyes on the TV and not responding. That's what the newborn sees if we don't have the reciprocal relationship. So when the mother or father has mental issues, mental disease or depression, that drastically affects that dyadic relationship. That is so critical for building those protective factors that I talked about. Those buffering mechanisms are critical right from newborn stage. So it's really, and it's not just postpartum. We are now checking the same postpartum depression screens in prepartum, because significant number of women prepartum also have depression, and they have stress and anxiety, which create pro-inflammatory factors like cortisol and other factors, which not only affect their health and increase their risk for gestational diabetes and high blood pressure, but affect the child in utero.
This is why we say it, to have a healthy child, you need a healthy mother. That prenatal time, that postnatal time is so critical. Thank you. So what I hear you saying is when the mental health of the mother in that postpartum year, or the year before, but in that postpartum year is a concern, that can contribute to ACEs, correct? And you see with ACEs, you see a 50% higher likelihood of childhood obesity, yes? Yeah,
and there is 400 or 500 times more likelihood of getting other diseases like heart disease and pulmonary disease and cancer and mental disease and drug addiction and early infancy and STDs. There's over 40 different scenarios of increased propensity with ACEs. So obesity is only part of it.
Thank you. And then when you were talking about ACEs, and I was thinking I represent in the Milwaukee area, and I was thinking about gun violence and domestic violence and lack of access to secure housing, and how that can affect resiliency. My brain went immediately to resiliency, and I know you wrapped up your presentation talking about resiliency, but I thought there's got to be a relationship between resiliency and what we're talking about here.
Yes, absolutely, and that's why I wrapped up that way.
So targeting like how kids lose their resiliency is related to the childhood obesity conversation.
It is, and actually I would say the other way, how each child gains resiliency, because it's a learned thing, okay? Building resiliency or gaining resiliency happens with adequate nurturing, healthy lifestyle, physical activity, nutrition, sleep is really, really important in resiliency building, okay? In bonding and so forth. So that is so critical in every way, and it's so generic, if you will, to tackling all kinds of issues that we have in the society. And that includes obesity. So I guess it's a common thread phenomenon that if we can help build resiliency in early childhood, and parents, and therefore parents helping children building resiliency, because it's that dyad, right? We can help diminish a lot of the mental unwellness, the physical unwellness, and therefore all the disease that happens that we see in my office.
And is it important for children in these situations to have access to mental health care throughout their childhood?
I would think so, but the thing is that it is important, but there's inadequate access. Not because of distance only, but inadequate number of providers giving mental health, right? So we need to justify a way for this, not just the mental health expert, the ones with the degree, if you will, but justify common wraparounds around children, childcare, schools, and there's CESA does that, right? It helps school systems with mental health. And that is so important around education, parenting classes, and so forth, about how children's mental health and physical health is affected by their own mental health.
If I could just add, there are some really successful programs, even right in your district, of providing more resources to primary care providers and pediatricians so they can deal with mental health right in their office. That's one of the strategies statewide in all of our mental health work that we've been promoting, and I know several health systems are promoting in our state, because we're not going to solve the provider shortage by adding more psychiatrists to schools. There just aren't enough people graduating medical school with that degree, but we need to give the resources to the team so that they can put those in place. So that's a strategy we've seen a lot of success with.
Thank you. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your very thorough presentation. Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it.